Good morning. All right, so we want to talk real briefly about rates and unit rates again. I know we started it yesterday, but let's finish it off here. So I have some notes right below me, so that's why I'm looking down periodically. Remember, a rate, we wrote this in our notes yesterday, is a ratio of two quantities using different units. And a unit rate is comparing a quantity to one unit of another quantity. So remember, unit rates always have a denominator of 1. Now your book shows some examples and they organize things into charts, just perfectly fine. And a way to organize, remember we've talked about how charts sometimes can look like the fractions. I prefer to just write the things as fractions, the rates as fractions, and show the division to get the unit rates. So I'm going to do a couple quick examples. You also have these same things in Big Ideas Math, and I've shown you how to navigate to those as well so you can review that before you work. And we've gone through it in class, hopefully. All right, so let's say you have a rate. We want to compare fruit juice by the water in the fruit juice to the concentrate, the mix that actually makes it the fruit juice. So we have a rate of 4 pints of water and 2 cups of concentrate. Concentrate. I have to concentrate to spell that word. We're going to compare water to cups. So here's our rate, 4 to 2. That's our rate. Then if we want to find the unit rate, we're going to divide by 2 because our unit rate has to have a denominator of 1. So we always ask ourselves the question, how are we going to take our denominator and get it down to 1? Well, simply dividing by whatever that number is, right? And you're going, duh, Mrs. Jensen, we know that. Well, good. And so now we would have a unit rate of 2 pints to 1 cup. That's our unit rate of 2 to 1. Now, what if we wanted to find the unit rate of cups to pints? Cups of water to pints of, cups of concentrate to pints of water. I said that backwards. Well, we could do that as well. So now our rate is going to start out at 2 to 4. 2 cups of concentrate to 4 pints of water. Now this is our rate. So if we have 2 to 4, what do we divide by in order to get our unit rate? Because our unit rate has to have a denominator of 1. Hopefully you've said divide by 4. Now you're going, Mrs. Jensen, that's going to be a weird number up here on top. Yes, it is. You're either going to write it as a fraction or as a decimal. You might have 1/2 over 1. That's okay. Here's where maybe the chart works a little better because it doesn't look quite as weird. But you could have 1/2 over 1, so you'd have a half a cup to 1 pint, or write it as a decimal. 0.5 over 1. 0.5 cups to 1 pint. Rates, it's okay to have a fraction over a fraction or a decimal over a fraction. You'll see that when you do this with money as well. Oftentimes the dollar amount's going to be on top and it's going to be, a few cents. Now also remember when you have money, you're going to need to round. So round to the nearest hundredth, 2 decimal places. Just don't forget that. Then, real quickly, we're going to do one other quick example. Erase this. All right. Let's say we have a rate comparing distance to time. And I'll give you this info here in just a second. Distance compared to time. Let's say you travel 5 miles every 6 seconds. 5 miles every 6 seconds. That's a rate. What's the unit rate? Well, to get our unit rate, what do we need to divide by? That's right, 5/6. or not 5/6, divide by 6. So up here we have 5/6 over 1. You go 5/6 of a mile in 1 second. Now the question is, well, how far did we go in 30 seconds? Now you might say, well, I'm just going to take 6 times 5. But the instructions right now are work from the unit rate. From the unit rate, how would we figure out how far do we go in 30 seconds? I want to work from the unit rate. That's specifically how the question works. Because sometimes this isn't always going to work out where you can just go, oh, I can multiply this by something and get the number I need. We saw like, and we did something like that yesterday too. So we're going to work from our unit rate. So we need to, what do we have to multiply by if we want 30 seconds? That's right, we got to multiply by 30 over 30. So we know we're going to have 30 seconds on the bottom because 1 times 30 is 30. 5/6 times 30. Remember how to multiply fractions. Write 30 as a fraction over 1. If you like to cross cancel, go ahead. That becomes a 1. That becomes a 5. You have 25 over 1 or 25. You go 25 miles in 30 seconds. If you don't like to cross cancel, then 5/6 times 30 over 1 is 150 over 6. Do that division, and you discover that it still is 25. And you have 25 miles in 30 seconds. That's an either or. So those are the kinds of things you're going to be looking at in the work that you're doing today. You can always go back and rewatch this video or parts of this video to help you out. Plus use the stuff in Big Ideas Math. We'll see you around in the classroom. Bye.